As a developer, authentication is one of the most important things that you need to have on your website. Many platforms are already there where you can use those libraries. Let's say you are using NextAuth, you are using some other libraries or something you are creating by your own. But there is one such platform which I recently came across and it has blown my mind. This platform is called Clerk. Clerk is basically an authentication system platform where you can use Clerk for your authentication and you can have the entire DB to yourself. You can obviously connect it to your own DB. And today's video, we will be talking all about how you can use Clerk authentication in your systems, and we will also create a project to understand what Clerk offers to us. So without any further ado, let's get into the video and let's go towards my computer screen. Now let's understand first what is Clerk. It's basically a most comprehensive user management platform. Okay, and let's just get started. We'll just sign in. You just have to create an account. You can sign in with Google. Google is, I think, the best one where you can sign in. So I'll just sign in with Google, and we'll be using NEXTJS Next 15 for this particular video. I'll give the application name as Clerk, and I'll use the Google authentication only, and I'll also add the GitHub authentication. Let's go for GitHub as well. Okay, I'll create the application. So this is basically the first step you do for creating the application. And I also have created a basic NextJS 15 app over here. As you can see, Next 15 local running on localhost 3000. What's the next step? Now, after that, you have to choose which particular framework you are using for your project. Since I'm using Next.js, I'll click on Next.js. It's already there. Then, based on which particular managing tool you are using, I am using NPM, so I'll go with NPM install Clerk. Okay, I'll go for another terminal and I'll just paste it, NPM install Clerk / Next.js. It will install all the dependencies. Okay, now next what we have to do is basically create an env.local file to get all the publishable keys and everything. I'll just copy this and here I'll have .env.local and just paste it over here. Okay, I'll just close this. Yeah, so this is how the publishable key and the secret key will look like. Okay, that's great. Now, what we have to do next is firstly set up something called Clerk middleware.ts. Okay, update your middleware file and create one at the root of your project or src/directory if you are using src structure. Okay, I am using the src structure, so I'll go here and I'll create it inside this middleware.ts. Okay, and I'll just copy this. Okay, what it is doing here is basically skipping the Next.js internals and all static files unless found in the search params. Okay, so this is basically what we are using just for the setup of the entire project. Now let me do one thing. I'll just put it here and put it here. Okay, we have done this. Now what we have to do is we have to add the Clerk provider to your app. Basically, Clerk provider is something that we have to add at the top level, as in we have to add it in the layout.txt because that's where we are running or initializing or anything that we are passing over here is being run inside the entire Next.js directory. Okay, if you are using React, you can go for the main.index.jsx. If you are using Vite, you can go to the main.jsx. Okay, so here what we are going to do is basically initialize the clerk provider. Let's first get into what clerk provider does. The clerk provider components provides a session and the user context to the clerk's hooks and components. It's a reminder to wrap the entire app at the entry point with the clerk provider to make sure the authentication is globally accessible. Okay. Now you have two options, like if you are using the pages router or you are using the app router. Since I'm using the app router, I'll go with this one. What I'll do is I'll just first import the clerk provider sign in button from the clerk slash NEXTJS signed out button. Signed out will be copying, will also copy the signed in and the user button from NEXTJS. Okay. Now what we are going to do is basically now here inside this body, we will be just wrapping the entire thing. We'll be wrapping the clerk provider over our entire application. Okay. I'll just paste it over here. Okay. We'll not go for this one. Now we'll go for a basic user authentication. Now, what does this mean is the clerk is available through your app now. Okay. Now, what we'll do is basically create a sign-in page. Okay. Inside the app directory, we will create a sign-in page, sign sign in slash page.tsx. Okay. We'll be creating a sign-in page over here. And what we'll do is we'll not take these values. We'll just remove them from here. Now, in the sign-in page, we will call the sign-in button, sign in, and self-close it over here and also give it basic design. We'll have it as flex, justify center, item center, height not start, and also height of the screen. Okay. And we'll also create a sign up page, sign up slash page.tsx. Okay. It will be the same as sign in, but here we'll have the sign up. Nothing different. Okay. Okay. Now what clerk will do, it will basically automatically handle the entire authentication and UI for these pages. Okay. Now let's go and create a dashboard page so that we can restrict the login users. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll close this entire thing, and inside the app directory we will create a dashboard slash page.tsx, not dot, slash. Okay, we have the page.tsx over here. We'll just go here and firstly we will import the auth module and the redirect module from the next slash navigation. Now what we are going to do is we are going to say that, yeah, if the user is logged in, we'll say, yeah, welcome to the dashboard along with the username. So first what we'll do is we'll just destructure the user ID from auth. Okay, I'll be explaining what we are doing here exactly. If there is no user ID present, we just redirect the user to slash sign in, meaning if the user is not logged in, kindly give us the things, or kindly first log in. Now we'll write here as, we'll first convert this into an H1. We'll write welcome to your dashboard user, or we'll write just the user ID. Okay. Okay, what is the error that we are getting? User ID does not exist on type. Okay, no worries. We will be working on that. Now, what will happen if a user is not signed in? They'll be directly redirected to the sign in page. Now, what we are going to do is, let's first now display the user info and the sign out button. Now we will have a component. We'll just create a folder called components where we will have the navbar.tsx where all the sign in, sign out buttons and everything will be present. Okay. So we'll first import the user button, not but, sorry, user button and use user. Okay. Use user is basically a hook that we get from Clerk. Okay. Now what we are going to do here is we'll have a navbar with the home page and everything. So we'll just first convert this into a nav tag along with the class name as p4 flex justify between bg gray 800 and text as white. Okay. Inside that we'll have a link. This link will be the next link href. First one as the home one. This will be the home link. Now here we will have a division where we will say if the user is signed in. Now this is basically a hook that we'll be using. So as I said, we have a hook called use user. We'll be just destructuring it from there, equal to use user. But there is one catch here. We will have to write here as use client as we are using a hook. So every time we use a hook in NEXTJS, we have to mention as use client, whether it be use effect, whether it be use ref, whether it be use state, anything. So what we'll write here is if the user is signed in, then show the user button, or else first give me just a second, give me the sign in, sign in. Okay, and I want to redirect it to sign in. Okay, and I'll just have the class name as mr4 margin right as 4, or else, and also give me sign up. I'll just write as sign up. Okay, now this is done. We'll just include the navbar in the entire layout that we have. Okay, just above the children, I'll just import the navbar. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, we have sign up and everything. If I click on sign in, yeah, there's one error. The sign in component is not configured correctly. The sign in root is a not catch all root. Okay, no worries. We can see here that we have the sign in into Clerk and sign up as well. Okay, so if you see, there is no need for creating the UI. The entire UI is made up by the Clerk itself. That's the main, and you can say one of the most interesting things, because as a developer, you get a lot of time involved in creating the entire UI, maintaining it. So your Clerk does all the work for yourself. Okay, so now we will also create a protected API route, because there needs to be a protected route. So if you need to restrict an API route to authenticated users, we have to use the auth function. So what we'll do is we'll go inside the src inside the app, and here we will create something called API folder. Inside that we'll have a protected folder, and slash we'll have route.ts. Okay, here what we will have, we'll first create an export async function get. Okay, here we will first take the user ID from auth. Okay, not server, from Clerk/NextJS. Next, if there is no user ID, we will return a next response dot JSON where the error is, where we get the error as unauthorized. Okay, it will be inside this, and we will also get the status as 401. Okay, if the user is, or if the user ID is not present, or else we will return next response dot JSON along with a message saying hello authenticated user. Okay, now here if an authenticated user tries to access the slash API slash protected route, they'll get a 401 error. So let's just start the server once again. We'll just CLS, I'll go over here, CLS npm run def. Okay, localhost 3000, I'll just do a hard restart over here and just let it just load. Yeah, we have an error over here. We're going to sign in. What is the error that we get? The sign in component is not configured correctly. Okay, that it is not in catch all routes. If you are using root matcher, okay, it is recommended to convert the root into catch all route sliding slash. Alternatively, you can update sign in component or by setting the routing prompt to hash. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll show you how sometimes I do the debugging process using Copilot. It's like, because somewhere what people do right now is they just show like, yeah, this is how the thing works, this is how the things are done, but they don't show why they do, how they do it, how the debugging process is. So I'll just show how I sometimes debug things. So we'll go into the dashboard page. Here we have the error over here. If you go, we'll get quick fix option, and here we have fix using Copilot. So let's just see what Copilot says. Is that auth returns a promise, you need to handle it asynchronously. Okay. Okay, we have an async function. Okay. I'll take that. And here as well, it has no exported member. Okay. Fix using Copilot. I also accepted it. Not get auth. We only need auth. Okay. And here we will write as await. Okay. Are there any other errors that we are facing? I don't think so right now. Okay, let's go to the UI. Let's go on to the home page. Okay. Yeah. Let's go into sign in. Okay, this is one error. Let's also see what the error is. I'll just copy this and search it on Google. That's what I do when I am not able to figure out what the error is. So I just go to Stack Overflow, and this is how I debug the entire thing. I'll not be pausing the video. I'll just be figuring out the error right in front of you. The sign component is not figured correctly. Okay, here you have to create a new folder inside the route called rest. Okay. That's a pretty new thing that I have come across. So inside sign in, they told to create a new folder rest, and I have to pass this over here. Yes, import. Let's see, is there any new error? No. If I go to sign up, I might get the error. Yes, I'll create that folder also over here and pass it over here. Yes. Okay, let's see. I'll just do a hard restart, and first I'll create an account. I'll click on Google. It will be just be loading, and see, the entire process is taken care by Clerk itself. Otherwise, if you go to Google, you have to create a credential, you have to set up an OAuth screen and everything. So it's just everything is done by Clerk. How amazing it is, right? I click on this Google ID, continue, and yes, see, the entire authentication is done. Now let's go to the dashboard and let's see, guys, the entire authentication and the DB part is being managed by Clerk itself. Okay, so if you want to see the users that you have, see, there's no need for setting up the entire backend for the authentication process for anything. It's just that you have the entire thing all by yourself. And if I go on to manage account, I'll be able to manage my own profile page. Okay, it's everything is secured by Clerk. Let's try sign out and let's try sign in again. I'll sign in by Google. Let's talk Aditya. See, the entire thing is done. And let's see if the API route is done. API/protected. I am able to, yes. See, I am also able to access the protected route. But let's say if I am not signed up, if I am signed out, am I able to access it? Unauthorized. See, this is the power of using Clerk, because it's like you are maintaining the entire protected route just by a small piece of code. Now you only tell me, if you have gone towards using the traditional method of using the authentication service, you must have gone through a lot of code, right? And here the entire thing is done by yourself. And here it's like the development instance as well. If you are going for a production one, you can always go for a production one. You can also configure things, as I have used just the Google or GitHub authentication. Here you can use various authentications. You can have email, phone number, you sending a verification link. Okay, and then use single sign-in connections. See, if I click on add connection for all users, you get Google, Microsoft, Okta, and everything. OAuth applications, Web3. It's like the entire thing is managed by Clerk itself. Okay, sending an SMS code, everything. Okay, so this is basically what would be the future of authentication, and it also has webhooks as well, guys. Webhooks is also provided by Clerk. Okay, so in this video we talked about how you can use Clerk in your projects and how you can go for authentication using Clerks and give out all the traditional methods that you have been using till now for your authentication purposes. We'll also be making some projects where we'll be using Clerk in depth. This was just a beginner friendly tutorial to understand what Clerk is and how Clerk looks like and how we can use Clerk in our project. So I hope you like the project, and don't forget to check out our channel. If you haven't subscribed till now, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Great videos are coming towards now, and great podcasts are coming towards now. I recently put up a tutorial in GraphQL as well. It's an entire beginner friendly tutorial. Make sure to watch that tutorial to understand what GraphQL is and why you should go for GraphQL. And also don't forget to check out our Dev Exchange playlist. It is a playlist where we are talking all about tech, placements, careers, everything. Not a podcast, but a different form of content that we have been producing. And it's a pretty good and all in all technical videos that are published over there. And apart from that, we also have created a new playlist where if you want to go for all kind of projects, you can get everything over here. It's a project-based learning playlist where all the projects that we have made on our YouTube channel are available here for free. So this was it for the video. If you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.